this episode of Destination Truth. Josh and his team embark on an expedition to Easter Island for the world's most remote paranormal investigation, chasing reports that evil spirits inhabit the island's massive statues.
The island itself accept you or reject you.
Can the team unearth evidence of these malevolent ancient spirits?
Somebody out here with us? Right there, come on.
Or will the island's secrets prove too powerful for Josh to decipher?
What? Can't go over me.
Next, Team Truth voyages to New Zealand, where locals say a monstrous bird-like creature has survived extinction and is lurking deep within the Fjordland.
When they get cornered, they can actually disembowel hunters.
As Josh tries to uncover the truth behind this vicious beast,
I see it.
the investigation takes him dangerously close to the edge.
Whoa! Hold on! I'm Josh Gates. In my travels, I've seen some unexplainable things, and I've done some things I can't quite explain. Now, I've pulled together a team armed with the latest technology in the search for answers to the world's strangest mysteries. I'm not sure what's out there waiting for me, but I know what I'm looking for. The truth. With 6 billion people on the planet, finding some peace and quiet can be a challenge. But if you take a magnifying glass to this round globe of ours, you might just find a tiny speck of land in the Pacific that is about as isolated as one can get. Easter Island is the world's most remotely inhabited island, with its closest human neighbors 1,200 miles away. But as lonely as it is, even Easter can feel crowded, what with hundreds of colossal statues standing guard around the island. These 75-ton stones, called Moai, were carved from volcanic rock and were mysteriously transported to ceremonial altars all over the island. The Moai are said to be inhabited by the spirits of the dead island chiefs they represent, giving them intense supernatural power. The island natives, called Rapa Nui, report strange feelings, sounds of voices, and apparitions in the presence of the statues. Though Easter Island is a scant 15 miles long, it is lorded over by more than 800 immense Moai scattered along the coast. Recent paranormal reports are concentrated at the island's largest ceremonial altar, called Tongariki. Strange events have also been reported at the nearby Ranu Raraku Quarry and a neighboring forest. My plan was to investigate all of these potentially paranormal hotspots. Ready to kickstart the most remote paranormal investigation ever conducted, we packed up our gear and headed to South America. Reaching Easter Island takes effort. We flew 13 hours to Santiago, Chile, and then 5 more hours over the vast Pacific to land on this speck of an island. We touched down at one of the most remote airports in the world and drove south to Hangaroa, the only town on the island, where the earliest Polynesians here lived more than 1,500 years ago. The native Rapa Nui script, seen all over the island, is one of the last untranslated languages of the world, having been lost to history. While in the car, I found out my team may have been more familiar with Easter Island than I thought. Can any of you guys speak Rapa Nui?
We can Rapa Nui.
We're an ancient civilization a long time ago. We cut down all the trees and now we don't flow. We got the ghouly goblins. We float in your eyes. We get up in your brain and you know our outside. What?
You guys are great. You'll be able to communicate with the locals, I'm sure, with no problem. With my expert translators in tow, we set out to speak with eyewitnesses on the island. This local painter's night of camping at the mysterious Tongariki altar became a frightening encounter. I understand that you had a strange experience here on the island.
Sí, tuve una experiencia una sola vez.
He saw some shadows going through his tent. The shadows were people going by, many, many people. He started hearing some voices, but the strange thing of the voices, it was the ancient Rapa Nui language.
Do you think that these were ghosts?
Pienso que son espíritus que viven ahí, custodian ese lugar.
Absolutely. There are no other explanation. They are spirits, guardians of that place.
Rapa Nui tribal leader Io Haua is all too familiar with the spirit guardians. He says they're the ghosts of his ancestors that protect the island. Is there a negative or a dangerous element to some of these spirits? Why is he cutting my head off?
He said that we can feel sometimes some bad spirits. And sometimes you can feel it when you go around on the island, usually in the dark places, like a bad spirit, like demons. We call that aku aku.
Aku aku. He claimed that the power of the spirits is undeniable and should not be taken lightly by me or my team. To ensure our safety, he performed a protective tribal dance. Feeling hopeful that the many spirits in the island now welcomed us, we drove 3 miles inland and arrived at the Ranu-Raraku Quarry. On the slopes of this extinct volcano is Easter Island's most jaw-dropping attraction, also called the Nursery. There are more than 400 statues littered here. This is where every single Moai was carved and where the locals believe their supernatural powers were born. Francisco Ica is a park ranger who refuses to enter the quarry at night after a terrifying experience here.
And in the night, he started hearing some voices, and he was quite afraid. Voices of like people working here, giving instruction, moves the stones, go that way. The island itself accept you or reject you.
And what happens if the island rejects you?
You can have the worst experience in your whole life.
He went on to tell me that in order for the island to accept us, we would need assistance. He directed us to a local medicine woman who reportedly holds a potent key to being accepted by the island's spirits. Papa Tipano Herevere is a traditional Rapa Nui healer and says in order to be accepted by the spirits, I had to imbibe an herbal tea made from an exotic island plant.
There is a plant called the Matuapua. Our ancestor left it to us. This is a plant we find only in few places on the island. Usually down the volcano, the crater of Poike. You have to find it and bring it back to her, and then she will mix it and prepare it for you.
The healer drew us a depiction of the plant as well as a map with markers to guide us to a remote cliffside cave where it grows. Ryder, you got the map, I've got the drawing of the plant. We're headed towards the volcano, and what could possibly go wrong with this plant?
We could die trying to find a plant to drink a tea to go on an investigation.
It's like Lord of the Rings, except I'm just trying to get something to drink. Papa was only able to arrange 2 horses, so Ryder and I had to face this adventure alone, and we galloped off across the volcanic hills to recover this rare plant. Ryder, we're at the first marker! This is the first marker on the map. Head around this, and then we go off to the right, yeah? Let's go. Yeah! As inclement weather set in, we struggled to locate all the symbols on the map and navigate our horses around the valley and up the steep volcano. There's a face, eyes, nose, open mouth. We go right from here into the valley, yeah?
Yep, that's it.
That must be it right there where that rock formation is. See it?
Yep.
Once we made it to the cliffs, we descended a muddy and treacherous ledge perched 1,000 feet above the rocky shoreline. There it is. Oh, God. I searched the inside of the tiny cave, which was barely big enough to crawl through, while Ryder scoured the outside of the cliff. I don't see it again. It's pretty dark in here. Very muddy. Nothing growing in here. No sunlight coming in at all.
Hey, Josh, I think I've got something out here.
You found it?
Think so.
I hope so. Coming out.
Looks like it.
What do you got?
Look at this right here.
Ryder, I think that's it. That's a match. And with the plant in hand, we raced back to meet the healer in a seaside cave where she examined our find and confirmed that we had indeed chosen wisely. She muddled up the leaves and root of the plant, boiled it, and served us an herbal tea designed to increase our chance of witnessing the paranormal phenomena on the island. Time would only tell if the spirits would reveal themselves, but the tea did have one immediate effect.
My tongue is numb.
Stuff her fat. With the day nearing an end, we met up with the rest of the team and made our way to the infamous Tongariki altar. All right, guys, there's Tongariki. Let's get the gear ready and get base camp set up before it gets dark. We unpacked and began setting up for the first overnight paranormal investigation in the history of this remote island. In terms of our investigation area tonight, we actually have quite a lot of ground to cover. We're not that far from the main altar, Ahu. We're also going to sweep the main quarry here. We've heard that there are some eucalyptus forests around here. There are caves in different areas, so we'll want to send teams out in different directions tonight to try to cover as much ground as possible.
We're on the most remote inhabited island in the world. There's an aircraft that comes in to transport people to a mainland hospital once every 2 days, so really watch yourselves tonight.
Let's get to it, come on.
All right.
We cabled 4 remote cameras 400 feet in different directions to give us infrared eyes onto the altar and surrounding area. Beyond those, we positioned multiple trap cameras designed to snap photos if anything crossed in front of them. Do you have a good signal from this camera?
Yeah, that looks great.
Vanessa would monitor all of the equipment throughout the night. Unable to cover all the recent sightings locations with cameras, we needed to split up. I sent Rex, Bobby, and Gabe to a remote forest atop a volcano that overlooks the site, where locals report seeing dark shadows. and rider Evan, Mike, and I went to investigate the Tongariki altar, where locals report hearing the sound of voices and encounter ghostly forces.
God, look at them. They're